just in case. But I didn't set it enough to know the dates.
He says that this semester.
Did you get it? I'm okay with like stuff like that. I'm okay with like the dates.
It's
one pair of sweats and oversized t-shirts. So maybe and a pair of really fuzzy socks because my studio's in the basement. So it's hard. That's pretty. I go downstairs, put that on.
Because I sit there and it's like,
otherwise I'd be like Big Ten from the Peanuts. With the dust cloud around me.
Well, it's not. This isn't I just drove. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's always
I'm sure it's next series. So, yeah. But how's 2 and 3 together? I watched the first one. I was like, oh, just. I did feel like when I watched shows, whatever, so that there's series that they're all.
I was never just to get
What happened to me was. Start something that had like 8 seasons and 20 plus episodes. It's just great. Oh, 2 seasons, 6 episodes. Yeah, they're hours. I think it's 6 episodes. And then
and then after that, I was just kind of like,
rainbow over there. All that white. I wear that down there.
I'm being extremely good at very much.
You are baby.
Beats. Lots of self-talk.
Make sure you're under the table fully.
Very small.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. Start the class.
I'll diet or something. Lennon can be diet.
How you doing? Morning. Okay. How you work? How your week? Good. Let's start with a minute of meditation. So again, please relax yourself.
I wonder if everybody is late because the interstate is at a dead standstill right now.
What's that?
The interstate on the way here is really clogged up. It's like stopped, so other people might be late too.
65 or 64?
64. Other one might be too, I don't know.
That's okay. So again, please rest yourself, relax yourself physically, mentally. Again, so please follow your breath for a minute. Come on.
8:13. Lost count. 16.
You did some?
And I kind of lost count.
So, you do the practice at home last week? How often did you do?
I did once on Saturday, once on Sunday.
Sunday? How long?
About maybe 10 minutes.
I did it once on Friday and fell asleep.
That's okay. As long as you rest, that's fine. How about you?
I do not practice it at home.
You do body scans sometime?
I mean, I have in the past. I've been meaning to try to get back into that habit, but I haven't done it yet.
Sorry.
You got stuck on the highway?
No, I actually fell back to sleep after I woke up. So I didn't set the alarm.
Okay. That's fine.
You mean you were meditating, right? Oh yes, I was meditating.
Oh, you meditate at home? That's
I was throwing all weekend, so
fine.
that's kind of its own form of meditation.
Okay. You try anything?
Yeah, I just try to I did a lot of chores this weekend, a lot of yard work and cleaning up the house, so I was trying to do that.
I tried while I was washing dishes.
Easy, right?
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of hard for me because my mind's, I'm always thinking about stuff. So I was trying to focus on just washing the dishes. It was pretty challenging for me, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you trying? Which one?
I did the body scan once when I was trying to fall asleep, and then I always try to mix meditation with yoga when I do that, and I did that twice this weekend. So I meditated about 5 to 10 minutes both days. So that was pretty relaxing.
Usually before I go to bed, or if I was going to do homework, I read for a little while. But I didn't do homework this weekend until like last night. So
my friends, friends. Let me see. Okay, so that's good. Morning here. You got jams on the freeway?
yeah.
Traffic?
Yeah.
On 64?
Right.
An accident or what?
Yeah, an accident.
Really? Did you try anything last week? Did you try to meditate last week?
Last week? No, actually I had horrible last week. There's a lot of things like going on in my life and homework, so it's hard.
So you need to calm your mind. Okay, good. Okay, so unless you recognize, okay, unless you feel, you see, you will have more courage and strength to do the work. Again, learning is one part, practice is another part. When you practice, you could feel that. You could put it into more control. Even when you wash the dishes, right? Even when you do your jaw, house jaw, sweep the floor. Even when you sit there and write your paper, if you really concentrate on your mind, you want to say, so that's why we're here. We learn how to keep our mind. Okay, let us move on to morning. You guys stuck in the freeway? You guys stuck in the freeway?
Oh, I just woke up.
All right.
I actually sent him a message to tell everyone I would be a little late.
I was late.
Okay. Did you do anything last week? Did you do any practice, meditation practice?
Oh, yes.
Oh, how long?
Just 1 to 2 minutes.
Relax yourself. Every day or once in a while?
I do it every day.
How do you feel now?
Feel good.
I mean that when you after you do that, you feel.
Oh, right after, yeah. I just feel clearer. I guess.
Especially if you go to take a test, multiple choice test, you need that kind of concentration and relaxation too. And if you so nervous, right, and if you're so tired, I bet you may not good result you didn't do the test. But if you calm, if you concentrate well, you have no choice. Pick the right number, circle the right answer. Otherwise, it's not easy. Especially even when you have job interview too, right? You're so nervous what happened, they know. You don't have that confidence. Anyway, let us go back to our class today. Okay, now let's move on. We just again we talk about the practice, meditation. Okay, now describe reflective meditation. Number 1. You ready? Let's go.
Oh, that was number 1. Yeah.
Yeah. What's mean the reflective meditation? What's mean?
What I could find is that it refers to a style of disciplined thinking. It's kind of like breathing meditation, but instead of returning to your breathing, you return to just one theme or topic, or focus on things like, who am I? What role do I play in the universe? How can I help remove the suffering of others? And it said that this just has a calming effect on the mind, but it suggested that you attempt to conquer concentration meditation first.
Yes. And what do you think? Does it have these three components here? Now what else? Next one. Yeah, acceptance. And awareness. So what do you think? That's gratitude meditation has these three components now.
Yeah, I think that's all.
Can you give one example of the gratitude meditation?
Of what? Of what?
Yeah, one example.
You just have it do it.
Let me give you an example. What if you wake up late?
Stay up.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
that's the problems. Okay, so now you're angry because you wake up late. You're angry.
Oh, no.
You accept this. See that? You say, oh yeah, I'm late. That's okay.
Yeah.
And what did you will wake up late? Probably last night I stayed too late. I said that. I'm aware of that. I'm here. At least I'm here. Wake up now. So, but what happens sometimes you may not accept that. No, I'm not late, right? Why I'm not tired? I didn't. Of course I stayed late last night, but I'm not tired. It's fine. You accept. You don't accept that. But in here, you're not aware of the present. You're not here. In a sense, sometimes you don't look late. I stay late or wake up late. Afterwards, we accept, recognize, neglect you. Think about what you done without fighting. Recognize. And now the meanings of gratitude meditation is analytical meditation. What is analytical meditation? What's with analytical meditation? They are similar. Do you need to analyze them? Let's give one example.
If you're waking up late and you're reflecting on that, you may not have to analyze it, but if it's something maybe more complicated or you're confused about something going on, you know, you may have to analyze, reflect, and then go through the steps of figuring out acceptance.
There's a tricky one. When you try to analyze this, what happens? You tend to judge. You tend to judge. But how? How could you stay with this kind of three principles, three components, instead of judging things while you analyze this without judging?
How do you analyze it?
Without judging, analyzing, accepting things.
I feel like analyzing without judging is
I don't know, kind of question. It's kind of question. But that's the tricky part. If you analyze and you judge it, right, you do compare, right? Yesterday I had more energy than today. I feel better. Yes, I feel better than today. Also, that's the problem. Right?
So you don't think you can analyze without judgment?
You can analyze, and in the pure mode. Let's say, look at just now coffee, drink coffee every day. How could you analyze a cup of coffee without judging. Yes.
Could you just say what's in it, what ingredients are in it?
Yeah,
What the
all the
average
time.
size?
The ingredients of coffee, the water, and so forth, without judging it. Whether it's good taste or bad taste, you just drink it. You see the difference? So don't fall in the trap of judging it, because when we talk about analyzing things, we jump into that problems, that goal. Isn't it? Okay? Is it clear now?
I sometimes struggle because I feel like sometimes I do have to analyze and include judgment when I'm deciding whether something is positive or negative.
That's when you fall into the trap. When you say this, yeah, the trap of positive and negative, right? That's two sides of the coins. When you fall into the trap, your mind is fluctuated easily. So you analyze, recognize, that's wrong. If you fall into the trap, right? Look about. I remember last time we talked about the breath. Or if you have to hold your breath on your chest and so forth. That's the for this kind of trap. Good and dry and wrong.
What about if you're thinking negatively constantly and you have to analyze, like, what you're doing to try to change it?
Don't try to change it. That's it. That's the beauty of meditation. You don't need to change anything. You just accept that. Let's say I have a thought of being angry about some person. I recognize that. I accept that. In a sense, don't try to block it. Don't try to say, oh no, you're not supposed to have angry thoughts to other people because you're a monk. You understand that? No, I accept that. I know I have that kind of angry thought. I recognize that. I still have emotion. That's fine. I recognize you. And I can move on. Instead of holding it or express it out. You see that? This is the danger of holding anger and expresses out. Either way, right? And the way you recognize them and recognize this negative thought. You don't play with it. So that's the beauty of meditation. Right? That's why it's so important to accept yourself. You have to accept your limit. It's not easy, right? As soon as you accept and recognize, you smile and go on. If you don't accept that, it will stop you. It will control your life. In a sense, if you don't accept, you stay late, or you wake up late, what happens? No, I'm not late. Right? I still have energy, and so forth. Right? And even you say, oh, I wake up. Let's say if you wake up late, but you try to rush to the school, right? And what happened? I mean, the car costs. Okay, I just wake up late. It's okay. That time we need to try. I try my best to get to school on time. If still get that's fine. You see, that's easy. Like when you somehow after the exam you have a C, especially if you're honest, that's one issue, right? You accept that? Easy. Is that right? It happened to you, some of you? So how would you deal with that C? If you don't accept that. What do you think?
I would ask Rach to clean it, but that's not the answer you're looking for.
Okay. It happened to you?
You have to accept the fact that you got to see. You tried your best, you got to see, you have to move on and let it go. Technically, that's what you're
Otherwise,
supposed
if
to
you
do.
keep the gut and you feel guilty, right?
Yeah.
Guilty is too heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy in your mind.
oh no, this is so horrible in my life now. My life is end now. Is that right? That's why. That's what he's talking. That's why it's so miserable. Of course, if we could not accept that. You see that?
I think like you have to accept anyway. I remember I have my chemistry, and I usually like know chemistry, but the one I took is like terrible for me because the first test is they asking a lot about like theory and definition. It's like threw me off. The first test I get a C, and I had a sweat off. I said, why I get a C? This is like simple for me. And then I like really freak out. I think about, oh, maybe I should drop the class and retake it. But then I go home, I'm thinking more deeply. I say, well, the first one I get a C, but I still have a lot of change, like, homework, and then I have like 3 more tests. It doesn't mean the whole entire class is going to C. So I have to try better and then ignore about the first one I get a C. I just like learn from that. Okay, this is the first test, and you know about what did the professor expect. So the next one, you're going to do better. So I try to improve it, and then I do better the whole entire class and get a B+. So actually, you not really kill yourself on that.
This is no dead end, right? Even if you love the job, right? It's no dead end. It's not the end of the line. Right? You want to different jobs. So that's what we need. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Number 2, please. Number 2 is generative meditation. Yeah, please.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe what I found generative meditation is focused on is, I believe it's called metta.
Okay.
Metta, which is kind of, I translated that as love.
Yeah.
So there's like 5 steps in generative meditation. First, you kind of generate love for yourself. And then the next stage, you go to generate love toward someone like your friends or family or something like that. And then next stage, you go to do it to maybe someone you don't particularly like or you don't particularly dislike. You're kind of neutral about it. And finally, you go into generate toward maybe someone you actually dislike. Actually, there's one more stage there. You kind of focus on all of those people, everybody, yourself, people you like, the people you don't like, everything. It's all focused on love there. And I think what I kind of got out of it is by clearing your mind and like focusing on this love for other people, maybe people you don't really necessarily like, you're forcing yourself to maybe not judge as much because you don't like someone because of what they do. But who says what they do is something that is annoying? Well, you kind of are judging that, putting that action or behavior in a certain slot of your mind that you say, this is bad. I don't like it.
Yes. That's good. Okay. Thank you. So, can you give one example? Actual example in your daily life.
I mean, I have a couple of people at work that I don't necessarily like. It's really hard. I know it's really hard for me not to judge them when they do something and just kind of really put a negative thought on that. But I mean, it kind of reminds me of the principle taught in the Bible to love your neighbors as yourself. But I haven't really per se practiced it. I mean, I always try to treat people with respect, and even if I don't like them, still try to treat them as they deserve to be treated, So
yeah. Most of the times when we were trained since we were young, we program ourselves, right? In black and white era, right? That person should be good, that person should be bad, right? So that's why we work so hard. Yeah. So with that kind of acceptance in any circumstances, when we do any kind of
Okay, this is what we call generative meditation. Meta, that's what we talk about. But let me touch briefly about, is there any difference between love and compassion? Any difference? I said, they're similar or different? If I put this question in the SAT test, you put this. Is there any difference between love and compassion? Yes?
I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but when I think about love, I think of it as something much more natural. I mean, compassion is natural too, but compassion is sometimes something you reserve for instances where maybe you wouldn't naturally be compassionate. I don't know.
Well, I think they're somewhat different, and love, maybe compassion is one of those kinds of things.
I was gonna say love is, to me, it's more like an interest in someone or something, but compassion is more like empathy, like you can feel for other things.
Yeah.
I think love is compassion.
Yeah.
Compassion is not love.
You know compass?
I know what it is.
Okay.
That is.
Okay, this is, see that? That's the hint. You got that? You got an idea? Okay, let's
Compassion's going to direct you towards.
You don't get the idea? No. Okay, let's put this way. Most of the time we say, okay, this should be two person or people, the emotional attachment, right, to other people, is that right? The parents, the children, husband, wife, friends, and so forth, right? But this have not somehow happened. It's limited, is that right? You're not my children, I don't love you. You're not my husband, I don't care. Is that right? But compass, look at this, I erase this one. Compass is, it's in general, it's everything. That's what we have compassion. Has been in general form, love unconditionally. Makes sense now? Can you love your parents unconditionally? You can. Can you love your children unconditionally? Yes, you can, right? But can you love your wife unconditionally? Maybe not. Husband, maybe not. Friends, maybe not. Is that right? So that's true compassion. Compassion is you love all the people without any question. Whether that's person good or bad. Whether that person support you or not. Whether that person love you or not. That's compassion. And that's what we mean by metta. Right? We just generate that kind of love, that kind of compassion toward whoever. So when we talk about compassion, we talk about more about this. Another one is in Buddhist, especially the Tibetan tradition, called Tonglen. What does it mean? We put our shoe on our shoe. We put our foot on our shoe. Make sense?
It looks like empathy.
Kind of empathy, but we can understand other people more. Make sense? We have that kind of willingness to sacrifice ourselves for others. Like the parents, the willingness of parents to sacrifice their life for their own children. That's what this is called Tonglen. Take other people's suffering as your, and generate love and kindness to all people. That's called Tonglen. Okay. Now, prayer. Anyone of you do prayer every day? Once in a while? Okay. Any difference between meditation and prayer? Any difference?
Yeah. It depends.
Yeah. How?
What I'm praying.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just me talking myself into doing things, or talking to whatever,
Okay.
doing something, or sometimes
like in my prayer, it's more about asking for something to change a lot. So that definitely differs from meditation, because meditation you don't go toward change.
Asking to change, right? That's good. That's good definition. What else? Asking. That's second person, right? Do you ask yourself? You pray for yourself? No. Right?
Well, I mean, I do pray. Yeah, if there's something in my life that I want to change, I will pray about that.
Okay, that's good. Either first person or second person, that's
Yeah.
okay. Asking for change. So, any different? Any different with meditation?
You're asking for something you're not accepting.
Yes. So, which one brings more peace? Actually, of course, we compare, but of course, people can use different techniques how to comfort their mind, their life, right? So, I mean, in practical sense, so the more you ask, what happens? The more you want, the more you work.
The more you want what you ask for.
Yeah.
And then why isn't it answered? Or
And when something does come answer what you're asking for, you'll be frustrated, right? You're more frustrated. You have the frustration if you don't ask things, you don't get things you ask for, whether you ask for yourself or for other people. So that's why is this? It's just again, it's fall into the generative meditation, but still you can recognize this. So as what we still did. All right, let's just move on. That's why sometimes people can make a combination between doing prayer and meditation. That's useful too. Yeah. Okay, the next one, number. Number 3. Is that your number 3? Jennifer, are you?
I think I'm 3. Mindfulness in daily routines.
Oh, okay. How about number eating mindfulness?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you? Okay, last time
Sorry,
you
I
had.
thought it was further down.
Okay, it's easy, right?
Yeah. Oh,
You read an apple and anything? No, I'm kidding. No, that's okay. That's okay. You can describe the problem. So how can we eat mindfully?
Eating mindfully is paying attention to each step. You have the food in front of you. What does it look like? What is it made from?
Mm-hmm. Usually these two components go together, right? Hand in hand, right? Here, now, and awareness, right? What else?
And then paying attention to the taste, the textures. How many times do you have to chew before it's squishy enough to swallow? How does it feel? And also taking time to recognize what's on your plate, and also by taking the time to recognize each feeling, you slow down the process of eating so it helps your digestion. And you're also aware of what you put in your body. I know for me, I'm a mother, a student, and a wife. So throughout my day, if I don't multitask, I'm either not going to get any sleep or I'm not going to get everything done. So I end up eating and doing something else at the same time. But if I was mindful of what I'm eating, then how they help my health and my digestion.
How is it cooking?
Well.
Last time, right? We
Yeah.
had the cooking. So, how do you cook?
I try to. We try not to use many pre-prepared foods at our house. So, starting from scratch, and I'm cutting the vegetables. And that, I'm really scared of cutting myself, so I'm pretty aware of what I'm cutting and how I'm cutting it. So, when I'm cooking, I'm pretty mindful, but I'm not very mindful of what I'm eating.
Oh, really?
So there are days I probably couldn't tell you what I'm eating. So.
And then when you have sometimes you have some problem of choking yourself with the food.
Yeah.
Right? You swallow too much and you get stuck there. Right?
And then you start awkwardly hiccuping and everyone's looking at you.
What's that?
I said, then you start awkwardly hiccuping and everyone's staring at you.
Yeah, it's happened. It happened when we're not mindful, right? That's why in the mindfulness-based stress reduction, they have some practices, even the raisin or any kind of food with your mindfulness. On a nice week, when we eat, we're supposed to keep silent. Yeah, and some of our meditation and have learned to us too. So most of we maintain that kind of silence so that we can know, like you described, the stature of the food, the fruit, the water, the soup, whatever food we consume. We train ourselves to get our mindful way of life. So that we won't choke ourselves. We enjoy the taste of the food. Is that while we're eating, we're watching movies. As we get used to that, right? When we eating, we play games, read newspaper and so forth. We get used to that, but now we want to reverse pattern. We want things that happens. Yeah. All right. So the next one, daily chore, right? You do daily chore.
Mindfulness in your daily routine.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Yeah. Well, I said that it's a common misconception about mindfulness that in order to practice it, you have to be meditating. But a lot of our readings lately have been talking about ways to incorporate it in your day. And I thought one good way is just start in the morning. When you first wake up, you can do a body scan and see how you feel for the day, get your mind clear, and then your mind will be right for the rest of the day. And then there's endless activities that you could be mindful of, such as eating, or they mentioned brushing your teeth in one of the readings, or taking a shower, or I know one of the other reading responses for the day is talking about chores, so they'll talk about that more later, but chores, that would be a time you could be. And then I wrote about too how a lot of people, when they talk about relaxing and stuff, they say, I'm going to go check out for a while. But I don't think being mindful is really checking out of the real world. I think it's checking in. Because technically, you're not living in the real world if you're constantly thinking about the past and the future. Then you're living in another time and you're living in a different world where it's run by all of your worries. To actually be in the real world, you need to be in the present. Think about all the things that you overlook. Just driving down the road, you miss so many things. Walking to class, you miss so many people. Maybe someone was wanting to wave at you or smile at you. Or, you don't notice nature or how beautiful our campus is. There's so many things that you miss because you're not in the real world. So I think it's just to incorporate it in your day, you just need to shut off those thoughts and try to do that more times a day until eventually you'll start living more in the real world.
To reverse the patterns. Listen, you wrote that article. Have you tried doing the chore roughly? And don't how?
I've tried doing that. Well, we just bought a house and it has all hardwood floors, and I sweep every day because I hate walking around and having stuff stick to my feet. I hate that. So I sweep every day, and I've tried just every day while I'm sweeping to just think about sweeping.
Okay, yeah.
And that is really hard.
I like it, that word. Yeah, try it.
I judge it.
And so we try to reverse it. How is common? It's common for us. I'm not funny, but this one.
I hate stuff.
When it's dust, when it's too much dust in the room, that's okay. Oh, I know, I hate it.
You see the difference attitude, is that right?
But I think that I sleep there.
But at least I know.
I slept in there. So
Yeah,
I sleep there.
if we use this is the word for us to reverse the change of pattern. I must. I should. What happens with this?
Putting expectations on yourself.
Yes, that's why. Thank you. That's why we generate such a. It goes together hand in hand with I love this. See that? Attachment. Two sides of the coins. Either you hate it or you love this, you don't like it, you like it. That's why your mind, your emotion spin back and forth. But if you accept, you know. Right? So probably that is the thing that you need to remember after you're done with this class. Right? Sometimes, we express ourselves automatically, naturally, and we don't pay attention much. We don't mean that. Is that right? We don't mean that I hate my flaw. No, we don't mean that. Because we get used of saying that. Right? So my point is that we reverse the pattern. So again, it's all captains we can reverse the pattern. All captains we can train ourselves. Even last time, who wrote the article is about walking. You do the walking. He wrote that article beautifully. Can you describe again how you walk? Practically.
Describe the process of it?
No. Yeah, just actually, since we don't have much time to do the practice, but I love that. I love to have times to practice. How about? Can you explain briefly the walking again? Walking meditation.
Yeah, and it's just being aware of each step that you take and the direction you're going, and focusing on how it feels in your body, and retelling yourself, "I'm taking a step, I'm stopping."
Have you noticed or observed how a student walking around the campus? How? They know how to walk? Do they know? What do you think?
They're all looking up their phone. I do that too sometimes, but it's just like,
Running,
yeah,
not
it's
walking.
like-
Is that right? We're so in a hurry. We're always in that kind of mood. That's why we're not mindful. That's why sometimes we stumble down, right? Anyway, so that's what mindfulness is for. Okay, and then the next one. Problem simplify. The moment is strong. You do get this.
Okay. What I have for domestic chores is that it can actually bring a lot of happiness to chores if you're mindful while you're doing them. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Han.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about how people usually only dislike their chores when they're anticipating them, but when they're actually doing them and they're mindful, like say you're doing the dishes, you're focusing on how the warm water feels against your hands. You're focusing on, the fact that you're able to clean these dishes and make them able to be used again. You're thinking about how much soap is in the water, all these types of things, and instead of thinking about the future or the past while you're doing that, or thinking about whatever you have to do next, you're focusing on what you're doing then, and you're going to pay attention so much more, which a lot of times I've had to do chores many times over and over, more than I had to because I didn't do it right the first time. I did that when I was young all the time. My dad would have to come and check the chores that I did, and then be like, "You did it right. That's what you did." So that really helps. It creates calmness, I guess, and it also allows you to let go of control. And when I think of doing chores, I associate it with control. Like you have to have control of your surroundings. But if you're doing your chores and you're mindful while you're doing them, then it reduces the amount of stress around you at all times because you don't really have to think about the future as much because usually you are worrying about things like chores. Like my mom hates doing chores just because she stresses over it. But once she does it, and it's fine. But she doesn't like thinking about it. So, like, instead of leaving the dishes for the next day, you do them right away, and your life is calmer, and you're not having to think about that as something you have to anticipate.
That the trash out,
Having
right?
things calm around you in the house.
Pick up all the trash in the house and take it out.
It makes you distracted, like if you're smelling the trash. You can't have, it's harder to be mindful. Well, you are mindful, but you have to be mindful of the fact that your house stinks.
Sometimes the gentleman may not like to wash the dishes, right? Sometimes we would like to do the big jobs, the heavy job, like fixing the car, right?
It's more attention to detail. Well, I don't know, on a bigger car, but like the small tasks can be really gratifying.
Sometimes we get stuck the dishes from day 1 to day 2. That's why all the animals, small animals, come to the house. Is that right? It smells terrible when you go to the kitchen. So anyways, we get used of that kind of chore, that kind of mindfulness. We clean our house. We enjoy our house more. Even our room too, right? Sometimes we may care about the house, we may not care much about the room. We dump everything in the room, is that right? Anyway, so yeah. I mean that we may dump everything in our room. After that, we lock the door so that people won't look at.
I have one room like that. I have one right there in my house.
Oh, yeah.
No, I have one. I never unpacked. It's like all full of boxes and whatever else. I don't know what to do with this room. There you go. Like, I really need to do something with that room. I just don't know where to put it. So I should just throw it all away.
That's why when you're mother, right? You sometimes you yell at your children, clean up your room. Don't make a mess. You remind them all the time. Okay, that's good.
We keep things.
Now the next one, assist, please. That is an assist. Yes. Okay. Autopilot. What's mean autopilot?
Autopilot, I mean, we all kind of know what it means. I mean, like in terms of, say, an airplane or a car, you sort of disengage from the act itself and let something else sort of do it for you. So it's similar to your mind. There's, I guess, a couple of different ways autopilot applies to your mind. One is sort of what she was saying. You're sort of, your head's down, you're going to your class, you don't look around to say hello to anyone. You're sort of just going with the flow, not stopping to smell the roses. It's a good expression. I think another way of looking at it too is sort of shutting down your feelings. And if you're in an uncomfortable situation or you're angry, you sort of go into automatic mode. My favorite example that I read was a reading where they were comparing it to when you use mindfulness to sort of deal with those issues. It's like being promoted from a factory worker to like an assembly line manager, which sort of means like when you're a factory worker, and not to say there's anything wrong with that job, but it's a good example. You're just sort of putting pieces together, and you're just not really paying attention to how they fit or what they're doing. But when you're able to like look over and see the entire line, you can sort of see how all the pieces will flow into one another, and you can anticipate it more. It was really interesting. I mean, I think if you're mindful, it means that you're more, you're aware of each thing that's going on. You're not in autopilot. Letting the world dictate things.
Before taking this class, have you noticed yourself for the whole day, from morning to night, how much time you are in that mood, autopilot mood? How much time you have mindful life? What do you think? What do you think?
Probably about 50-50.
Yeah, 50-50. This is what this article is about. New studies show humans are automatically half overcome. 50-50. Yeah, that's why. So sometimes we mindful. If things so serious, is that right? Right, like getting a test, right? Or having an interview, right? But sometimes if we don't pay attention much, we're not much serious. We just let them fly away. Is that right? So that's why we have that kind of autopilot. So just set our mind. Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I don't like driving on the highway is because you just get into that going along with the traffic, and then your mind starts wandering, and then you pass your exit, 3 exits ago, and you're like, well, where did
Yeah. And you remember, I think you have this kind of experience, right? Sometimes it's a hidden ears, right? You get used a hidden dress, but when on that particular day you're supposed to head into the east, but when you get into the freeway, you head into the west. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Because ultimately, if you are that habitual pattern, you go to that direction. But when you're there, you remember, I have to turn my car back.
It's muscle memory.
And sometimes we may be hungry or maybe thirsty, but in our backpack we still have food right there. Is that right? We don't pay attention much. Okay, that we do. So that's why we want to talk about autopilot. And when we writing too, if we're not serious in our writing, if there's not much pressure on our work, on our demand. So sometimes it's, let me put it this way, if things go smoothly, most of the time we don't pay attention. Is that right? But when someone gives us hard time, right? That your professors or your co-worker or supervisor, if they give you hard time, you may pay more attention on that, right? So depending on the situation, but so somehow mindfulness helps us to reverse that pattern of autopilot, and we know it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy if we have a kind of autopilot. Let me see. I'm sorry, who does number 4? Who does number 4? Tina, you do number 4 too, right?
Oh no, I think I changed it to 7.
7? Okay. Okay, go ahead, 7. How do you deal with your negative emotional experience? How do you deal with that?
Actually, I changed it because it's happened to my life. It's actually like, we know about like 3 levels of mindfulness. So if we're talking about in reality, it's like how do you deal with like relationship, wherever it's really stressful a lot. So it's like for me, I have to deal with a relationship is my partner actually have a multiple personality. And I have no clue what that is. And I like, what are you talking about? You say like this, and then suddenly you switch to the other side. And I don't understand what it is. So like, how can I be patient, like be love? Like accept it about a different character is like coming out. And how can I ignore about my partner being mean to me and say something like untrue at all? And then I follow, like mindfulness. I say, okay, this is not you. This is not who you are. I try to relax. I try to accept it and then move on. But it's just so hard because like every time you just see that person and then they just like flip back and forward, become normal, and then after that, not normal. It's just really difficult, like, even if I know that is untrue, but like it's really difficult for me to accept that a different character to talk to me in the mean way because I said like I'm mindfulness enough. I have my limits, and like everybody has a limit. And then I said, even if my partner say ignore what I'm saying, just be patient with me, and then anything's gonna be okay. And I did try to be patient, like all day and night. but it just like attacking me like every time. So I said like, how can I really mindfulness when you stand in front of me? It really means me. So what should I do in that case? Just like say, hey, I know you love me, I know this and that. It's not, in that time I cannot do it. I just like really piss off. And I try to fight back. I say, what are you talking about? You told me being patient, and now you throw up everything. It's really like very unkind and like, really meaningful in my face. So I said like during that time I can see like, oh, like 3 level. It's like not apply to me at all. And then I go home, I try to study, focus on my study, say, okay, at this moment I need to focus on my class, but it doesn't work out. The more I force myself to focus on my study, it's just like everything, in my mind, it throws me back from the past. I keep like judgment about my partner, what doing and stuff like that. It just doesn't work. It's really hard.
It helps.
It really helps.
I also had number 7 as well. I don't know if you want me to
You are number 7. Go ahead.
Okay. I found a quote that I like particularly just because I think it sums it up really well. It was in the Everyday Mindfulness reading. It says, mindfulness will help you see that strong emotions such as anger or sadness is temporary and it does not define us. Which, that's the accepting. You have to know that you're here and yes, you're angry, but if you're aware and then you accept that you're angry, you can, that it's not going to last forever and it's not going to define you or the relationship that you're in. And then I actually put something in here about changing mindset, but then I realized that the goal is not really to change anything, it's to accept it. So it's a flaw on my paper, but I'm accepting it because I've learned now and it's something else. But yeah, it's just, yeah. And that's pretty much like the sum of like dealing with negative thoughts. You're not needing to change, you just need to be aware and become more comfortable.
I just came back from New Jersey yesterday afternoon. When I was there, I spoke with a lady. She's only 32. She's a widow. She has 3 children to take care. One is 2, 10, and 13. 3 girls. Her husband just passed away 4 months ago because of car accident. She's 32. Too young to become a widow, right? Still hard for her. If you were in that kind of situation, it's still hard. She cries almost every day. Especially the youngest one, always asking, Dad will come, when will Dad come back? It's hard. And they try to comfort and remind her kind of emotion. She needs to accept reality that her husband has passed away. And then told her that try to put aside or keep his belongings somewhere else. You understand that? The more she sees his items, his belongings, the more memory about between them will be occur again. I don't know whether you have kind of experience or not, but you miss some loved one, right? So it's not easy when you deal with an emotion. Negative emotion is not easy, but somehow with my own experience, yes, I do all kinds of emotion too. But with my own experience for practicing meditation, it helps a lot. It helps a lot when you really recognize your own thoughts. If you don't recognize your own thoughts, or even if you don't recognize your own emotion, there's no way. It's not easy to accept. Okay, now let me give you one analogy for you to understand. And let's say our mind is like a pond. Clear pond, still pond. Someone admonishes us, it's like they threw a rock into the pond. You understand that?
So that this was at first is still the point, right? Or when the stone hit with the water, right? And this had a vibration, right? Is that right? And this is on the surface levels. On the deeper level, when the stone hit the water, the bottom of the water, it has little bubble. And when that bubble pop up, it's bigger, 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 bigger. And until on the surface, it's bigger. You see that? If you recognize this one, it won't happen. You won't have this kind of serious attack. Do you see that? It makes sense?
Yeah, it just made sense.
When you recognize, okay, I love that person or that woman, I recognize he's angry or she's cheater, I recognize that. And let's go. When you recognize that little bubble, it won't happen on the surface. It won't aggregate your emotion more and more until it's blow up. Make sense now? That's why it takes a long time to change. But if you can recognize, you can change much easier in a natural way. You don't need to force us. You need to hold to keep your gut, keep your hatred, keep your anger toward that person in your mind. It's not easy, but we have the kind of abilities. But at least you don't have the kind of skill in meditation, but at least you recognize us. When you sit there, that's why we have a reflective meditation, right? Remember, right? We just reflect the event. Why she or he cheat us? And deep down, and now we see, okay, why we have the anger? We use that kind of thought, that kind of reflective meditation to recognize this, and so that we can accept and let's go. Nothing going to change that person, or in the case of that lady, she couldn't get back to her husband. That was done. The more she thinks about him, the more suffering she has. So that's why I tell myself, pay attention on your children and try to put aside or keep somewhere else your husband's belongings and move on. And to compare, of course, for the people, it's much easier for them to recognize your children is more important. Of course, the mother, your mother, you can sacrifice your life for your children. But somehow emotion is emotion. But still, it's not times. It's not time to view. It's not time to recognize. It's time to accept. But when you are in the normal situation now, there's not much fluctuation. There's much change in our life. We have not encountered any crisis in our life. It's better to train ourselves. Have peacefulness, that have calmness, that have recognition, that have acceptance. So when we deal with crisis in our life, we're not surprised. If you don't train yourself now, if you don't change your paradigm now, when you deal with that kind of situation, it's not easy, right? So that's why please remember, if you can change this word, right? Either love or what? Help, right? Instead of love and help, it's help. Is that right in your case? You accept that. Nothing will change. All you do change is you change yourself. You change your paradigms. For that lady, nothing for her to change. She loved him too much. Now it's done. She needs to move on. Accept that she needs to move on with her life. So in your life, I think sometimes you encounter this type of crisis, right? Can you share, if you don't mind, how to deal with this beforehand?
in January, I lost my mother, and I went out to be with her in her last few days because she died of brain cancer, and I sat with her while she died. I was actually taking Buddhism at the time, his Buddhism class. So I just tried to keep it in perspective as much as possible. I mean, it was emotionally difficult, but I was also really trying to be mindful of kind of what she was going through, what kind of medicine schedule she needed to stay on to be comfortable, what I could do to make her comfortable, and just kind of trying to be there in that moment with her and share the rest of her time with her. But then when I came home, I brought home things that she wanted me to have, and I had to put them away, like you said. I have them, but they're not like displayed in my home yet. They're in a suitcase with the human, and they're just there now. And at some point in the future, they'll come out and go on the wall. But for now, they're in the suitcase.
Anyone that you like to share some of your yes?
My boyfriend and I have been together almost 2 years, and we just bought a house together and have talked about getting married and stuff. But when we first got together, his younger sister passed away. She was 8, and she died in a house fire. And he was really emotionally and mentally messed up for a while after that. And I noticed when we first moved in together, like he had pictures of her everywhere and like her stuff everywhere. And that it kept like reminding him of it over and over. And he was going to funeral school to be a funeral director, and so he had to talk about death every day. And it just kept reminding him of it. So one day I just sat him down and I said, I don't think you need to go to school for this anymore because you have already said that you don't like it, and I think it keeps bringing this up. So he stopped going to school for that. And then when we moved in our new house, we kept one picture out and we put all the rest away. We put all her stuffed animals and her stuff away. And he's done so much better now that he's stopped living in the past and focusing on that. I think it just took someone to tell him what he needed to do, and I agree with you that sometimes someone just needs a little help with it.
So you have a power on you.
Yeah, it has a nice influence, but it was a
That's good.
nice gesture, I thought.
Yeah, that's good to share.
When my mom suffers from bipolar disorder, and when I was younger, I had a really hard time accepting the way that she was, and that she was never gonna be like the mom I wanted her to be. And I don't know what, I mean, it was just a progression, but over the years, I just talking about it and learning to accept it has really improved our relationship a great deal, and made me see her differently. So that's something.
Again, yes, sometimes even without skill, unskilled meditation, but with your own knowledge, right, and understand it, right, you can move on, you can accept things much easier, right? So that's why first is to change our views about life. Instead of hate, instead of run away or fight it, accept. Okay, let's just move on. The next one is last one. Jennifer, who is number 7? Are you
Never.
Yeah.
Never came good.
Who is number 7 too? So, okay. All right. Let's see number 7. You do number 7? 8. 8. Describe difficulties in practice mindfulness. Yeah, please.
The 5 main ones that I found were issues controlling your thoughts and restlessness, like discomfort with the feelings that come up whenever you're being mindful, and then disappointment with like lack of good feelings, like you expect to have good experiences every time that you meditate. And then the last one was sitting uncomfortably. And really the whole article is pretty short, but it said that the deal with each one of them is like what we've been talking about. You just accept things as they are when you're meditating. Like you don't, when you can't quiet down your mind, you just let the thoughts go where they go. You let them occur naturally, and you accept them for what they are. If you're restless, you accept that you're restless, and you think about the parts of your body that are restless, or if your brain's restless, and then you break that apart, and it'll eventually go away on its own. To deal with the uncomfortable feelings, I said to let go of the meaning that your mind attaches to the feeling. just let go of what you don't try to pick apart, like, why am I feeling this way, just accept that that's how you feel. And interestingly, it said that if the feelings are too difficult to cope with, then you might want to seek professional help. So I didn't expect them to say that, but then with some people, whenever they meditate, expect to have these good experiences, and it just said, like, with everything in your life, you're going to have bad experiences and good ones, and things are just kind of neutral, and just to accept that this wasn't so great, so it's okay. And then the last one was sitting comfortably. It says to sit with your spine erect, but comfortable, and your feet on the floor. It said if you're not comfortable, then your body will, being uncomfortable will invade your mind and distract your thoughts, and you won't be mindful of what you're doing. Yeah, it just really boils down to being accepting whatever you're feeling.
About, can you try 1 minute and see what kind of difficulties you can recognize with this 1 minute? This 1 minute. Again, so please relax yourself, the body and mind, and count the breath. Please recognize what kind of difficulties you may encounter in this 1 minute. Instead of the number, what the thing? We recognize any difficulties?
It's getting easier.
Huh?
It's getting easier for me.
Easy now?
I'm not as fidgety.
Oh, okay. Much easy?
A little bit.
What happened?
It's just, it feels quieter in the head.
Not much.
Those many thoughts.
Not much chatting in the background. How about you? You recognize the difficulties in the about minute?
Well, I mean, I started to wander, but then I just let it go, and then I was breathing, so I didn't have too difficult time.
1 minute is really short, right? How about when you have difficulties, anything? You recognize difficulties, or it's okay now?
No, I think it's more easy now, maybe because I try to distract my mind, just focus on counting the rest.
So when you counting, any interruption from your thoughts?
Yeah, when I counting, it's just the other mind, it just tell me like stop counting and then think about the other. But no, it's focus on counting.
How are you?
Not really much different for me. I mean, I find it fairly easy just to focus on the breath, the body, and the counting. So
Because you used to practice that.
yeah, I do practice a little bit, so that may be why.
Actually, last week I had trouble. I started to panic while I was like meditating, and then this week it's not like I haven't done that. But I changed the way I breathe, and I just kind of I found a more comfortable way to speak, I guess. So now I'm not as worried about it.
It's about the same for me, I guess. It's just pretty easy to focus on my breath and just sit here.
Because you practice every day now, right? You get used to that.
Yeah. And I had done it some last semester too.
I'm enjoying it.
Feel calmer now?
Yes. It's often can be calm, and as she said, her mind's not racing, it's not as loud.
Get time to
Good. I feel really calm when I do just focus on my breath and my mind's pretty clear.
and recognizing the difficulties.
I don't think so. I think every time I've done it before, I've felt pretty calm. I am more comfortable with my breath since last time we talked about that. And I'm just like,
Don't judge, don't control, don't pull. Okay.
Yeah, some of the breath conversations I've noticed a difference in the way I breathe. It's more natural now. I still want to fidget, physically and mentally. I find my mind wandering to what our discussion in class, so I had to keep bringing it back to the breathing.
That's the same. I'm just getting my brain my thoughts back faster than I was before.
Okay, I have a list of this physical discomfort. Probably next time, we're going to talk about that. But again, it's our time, so let's just move on to our next discussion. This is more technical. This mindfulness stress-based direction. This is one of the. It's easy to see now. Can you see it now?
yeah.
Okay. You get your paper. Anyone of you have not signed yet?
Can you scroll it so we can see the number?
Oh, the number. Okay, yeah, I will. I will move in. Okay, yeah. Number one, please. Okay, yeah. Jessica. Two. Yeah. Three.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Tina, right?
Yes.
Four.
Rebecca.
Rebecca. Five.
You can have it.
Over here.
Take it on.
You. Five. Logan.
We're gonna have some overlap.
You can both do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to double up.
6. Please.
I'll do 6.
7.
I can do 7.
7.
Yeah.
Get cover, right?
Yes.
8. And clear in front. Alright, so thank you. So please take time. You can take time to make it, Alright, thank you. Okay, wait.
So every time I'm like,
So you done
yeah, I already did that one and resubmitted.
Oh,
I added one.
I will check it.
Yeah, I added one to that one. That was the one, or I thought it was 2.
It's not on courses.
Oh, what?
What's the thing? Kansas.
Was it?
It has.
The one from last class was one from last class was too short, so
Like we get resources.
I added more to it. It was only too short by a paragraph.
Yeah, this one's got all the files there for us to read through. And then the syllabus directs us to which one we need to read.
Whichever one, so if it's not the one that I read, I can still do, add more detail to. I take notes, but they're forever long.
Wait.
I just feel like I'm